So application of equation to business and commerce. Okay. And then let's read the first question. I think we read the first question and we were about to start. So we'll read the question once again and then we shall start. One second. Okay. So a person bought an article and sold it at a profit of 20% on his purchase cost. Had he bought at 20% less, what would have been the profit percentage if the selling price had been the same? So let us take an example. Let's say there is a article or there's a product. Article is nothing but a product. Now this product is sold. If X rupees is the purchase price of the product, okay, he has bought this product, he has purchased this product, and now he is selling it. Okay, he is selling it at how much? He is selling it at 20% profit. Okay, when he is selling it at 20% profit, it means that he is selling at X plus, X was the purchase price, correct? So X plus 20% profit he is trying to sell. So this is the meaning of first line, that is, if a person has bought an article and sold it at profit of 20% on his purchase cost. So if the cost of the product is X, he is selling it at X plus 20%, not 20 rupees. It is 20%. Okay. So this is the first sentence. Now the next sentence, had he bought at 20% less, if at all he had bought the purchase, if at all his, this is scenario 1, now scenario 2, if at all his purchase price was 20% less, okay, if at all his purchase price was 20% less, then in that case, what is the profit percentage? Okay, profit is also denoted by this symbol. You can just write like this and put this is all, this also means profit. So they're asking us what is the profit percentage at this scenario. Okay, and what is the selling price? So we know what is the purchase price, 20% less. And what is the selling price? Selling price, they are saying it will be same. Same means X plus 20%. So if selling price is same and purchase price is 20% less, we have to find out what is the profit percentage. Okay, this is what the question means. So the first scenario, they have given us, they have bought a product, they have sold the product at 20% profit. Okay, we know the profit percentage. And we also will know the selling price because it is 20% on the purchase price. So we can calculate the selling price. Similarly, when in the scenario 2, they have told us purchase price is 20% less, selling price is same, that is 20% profit, and we have to find out the profit percentage. Okay, so did you all understand the question first of all? Any doubts in the understanding of the question? Especially in such case, wherever you have full statement problems, the main thing is to analyze the question in very, very detail and understand the question, and then only you will be able to solve the problem. Okay, any doubts? Reply fast so that I can continue with the answer. I only see one answer. Okay, no doubt. Good. So let us start then. That's good. So here we have to define, since it's a statement problem, we have to define few of the variables here. So let us start by the definition, or let us start by defining the variables. So first thing, let the purchase cost be rupees X. So I am buying the article at X rupees. So I am keeping it as the purchase cost, because they have not given at what price they have got the article, right? So I've kept the purchase cost as X. Now, therefore, the selling price is equal to, they have told we are supposed to have 20% profit. Okay, suppose if this purchase cost, let's take for example, suppose if the purchase cost was 100, 20% profit on this means I will add 100 into 20% is nothing but 20 rupees. So I'll add 20 rupees. So totally my selling price will be 120. Right? Now the same type or the same tactic is used in the variable also. So if the purchase cost was X rupees, on this I have to calculate 20% plus this 100. Or let's say X was, we'll take it as X only so that you are not confused. So first I had X. On this I have to calculate 20%. So on this, if I have to calculate 20% means that is the profit. This will become my profit. So what is the original cost? If original cost is 100%, profit is 120%. So I will calculate something like this, 120% of X. Did you understand? Yes, no. You want me to repeat it again? Okay, fine. We'll do it again. Don't worry. Now listen carefully. The price of the product is X. Okay. The price of the product is X. Now for this product, I have to add 20%. Correct? So the price of the product, let's say it is 120 rupees, for example. If it is 120 rupees means I'll have to take full 100% of this amount. I have to take full 120 rupees. For that only, for that complete 120 rupees, I have to add 20% profit. Okay. Now I'm taking that full 120 rupees and for that I'm adding 20% profit. Now this will become 120%, right? If I add both of them, I'll get 120%. So I can say that the selling price is 120% of purchase price. I can say that, right? Because 100% of purchase price I have taken plus 20% of profit I have considered. Right? So I can say this as 120% of purchase price. Now did you understand? Everybody understood now? Guys, reply quickly. Okay, so that is the same thing that I am doing in this problem. Now I am defining a selling price. So what I will do, I will say it as 120% of cost price or purchase price, that is X. Okay, you got confused there when I took 100 as example. Fine, no problem. If you say, if you have not understood, I will teach in different ways. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now 120% of X. X is what? Purchase price. Now, if I do a little calculation here, let me erase this. So if I do a little calculation for this 120% of X, okay, now what will it become is 120% means 120 by 100. Okay, of X means multiplied with X. So here 120 by 100, how much do you get? 1.2. Just divide 120 divided by 100. You get 1.2 into X. So the selling price, I can say it as 1.2x. The purchase price is X. The selling price is 1.2x. Any doubts still here? Okay. So this was the first scenario. This is the first sentence. A person bought an article and sold it at a profit of 20% on his purchase cost. This is first scenario. Now let us define the variables for the second sentence. Now coming to the second sentence, it told us that if the purchase cost, Arpita, which part you want me to repeat it again? Let me finish the derivation of variables. I'll repeat everything again. Okay. Okay. So the second sentence is talking about, one second. Yeah. The second sentence is talking about if he had bought at 20% less. If he had bought the article at 20% less, then it would, what would have been the profit percentage if the selling price had been the same? So first we will take only this. Had he bought at 20% less, so he is buying the product at 20% less. So here, if the purchase price or purchase cost is 20% less, means same thing. Now same article, let's say 120 rupees was the example, 120 rupees was the price of the article. Okay, now in this, if the purchase cost, this is from scenario 1, I am talking about comparing it to scenario 2. In scenario 2, I am saying purchase cost is 20% less than 120 rupees. Okay, 20% less than 120 rupees, which means, now understand it clearly. In the first scenario, I took 100% of 120 rupees. Okay, now I took 100% of 120 rupees. But in the second scenario, they are saying purchase cost is 20% less, which means 20% less means I will consider it as 80% of 120. Are you able to understand? In my example, 120 rupees was the purchase cost in the first scenario. Okay, I considered all 100%. I took full 120 rupees. Now in scenario 2, they are saying you should reduce 20% of the purchase cost. Okay, so now instead of completely taking 100%, I will consider 80% of the 120 rupees. Correct? So which means I am considering 80% of purchase cost. Okay, the same thing I'm doing here also. So instead of considering the whole amount, I am gonna consider only 80% of X. X was my purchase cost. So from X, let me write it as rupees X, so it is easy for you to understand. Okay, so 80% of that purchase cost I am considering. So if it is 80% of that purchase cost, means 80 by 100 into X. So 80 by 100, what is the number you get? 80 by 100 is 0.8, 0.8x. So this is gonna be my purchase cost in the scenario 2. Did you all understand this part? Everybody is clear? Okay, so let us revise all the variables. Now if you see, first the purchase cost was X. We don't know, they have bought some product. Let's say they have bought a flower vase. Now we don't know what was the price, so we have considered it as X. Okay, and the question says the person bought an article and sold. He bought it and he's selling it. He's selling at a profit of 20%. Okay, if he's selling at a profit of 20%, means I am taking, if suppose that flower was 120 rupees. Okay, that flower was 120 rupees. Now I am considering 100% of 120 rupees. Full 120 rupees amount I am taking into account. Plus profit of 20 rupees also must be considered. Okay, so what is my selling price? My selling price is 120% of the purchase price. Okay, my selling price is 120% of purchase price. So that is why selling price is 120% of purchase price, that is X. So 120% means 120 by 100 into X. So 1.2x is my selling price. Now coming to the second sentence or the second scenario in the question, read the question carefully. It says, had he bought at 20% less? Okay, if the purchase price was 20% less, it means instead of considering full 120 rupees, that is 100%, I am considering 20% less of 120. That is nothing but 80% of purchase cost I will be considering. So that is the derivation that we have done here. That is nothing but 80% of X, that is 80 by 100 into X, that is 0.8x. I hope it is very clear now. Yes. Any doubts? Okay, good. Now coming to the actual working of the problem. Okay, so we will have to find the profit percentage. So therefore the profit percentage would be equal to profit is equal to, first scenario, the profit was, what was the selling price? 1.2x. In scenario number 1, the selling price was 1.2x. Minus, in scenario number 2, what is the purchase cost? 0.8x. Correct? I'm taking whatever we have derived. So in scenario 1, the selling price was 1.2x. So selling price I am subtracting with purchase cost. To get profit, I have to get profit, right? So whatever I had sold and whatever I am purchasing again, that I have to consider. So 0.8x divided by, to get the actual and proper price, I again divide it by the purchase cost of the second scenario. Okay, into 100. Into 100 because we want percentage. Now what have I done here? The selling price of the article minus the purchase price in the second scenario, that is 20% less, divided by the same purchase price to get the proper profit value. Here we are supposed to find the profit percentage for scenario number 2. So that is why I have considered this into 100. When you multiply that with 100, you will get a profit percentage. If you want percentage, you have to multiply it with 100. Okay. Now let us do some calculations. That is 1.2x minus 0.8x, you will get 0.4x divided by 0.8x into 100. Now if you do the math here, you will get 50% as the profit percentage. This is the answer. Did you all understand? Yes. Great. Then let's go to the next question. Now the next question is, in a student's hostel accommodating 50 boarders, I mean 50 people, 50 boarders means 50 people, the total monthly laundry expenses were increased by rupees 760. When did it increase? When the number of boarders is increased by 14. So in a student's hostel, first there were 50 students. Okay. And they were putting the clothes for laundry. And let's say for 1 month, they were getting some X rupees for 1 month. Okay. Now there is an addition of 14 students. So now there is an addition of 14 students, 50 plus 14. So there are 64 of them now. So for 64 students, the laundry amount has increased by 760. Okay, has increased by 760 rupees. Okay, this is the first sentence. Did you all understand this? First, there were 50 students. They were having some laundry expense. Laundry expenses means when they give their clothes for washing and ironing, that is called as laundry, or dry cleaning. All that together is called as laundry. Okay. Now, when they give their clothes for laundry, there was some expense that was happening. Now there are extra 14 students who are there in the hostel. So for totally 64 students, X plus 760 is the total amount of laundry. Okay, so this is the first complete statement of the problem. Now let us read the second statement. However, the average monthly expenses were less, but were less by by, that is, okay, less by rupees 1 per head. Now what they are saying here is, let's choose a different color. Now for each student, for each student, how much is the amount they will pay for each of them? So here if you consider, there were 50 students, right? So, and the amount that was happening, or the amount that they were paying together, was X amount. Okay, if they were paying X amount for each of them, how much it is? How do I consider? It is divided by number of students. We'll take another example for you to understand. Let's say the laundry expenses came to 500 rupees. For example, 500 rupees. Now for each of them, what is the laundry amount? I will, if I divide this by 50, I will get an amount 0, 0, 5 ones are 5 tens are. So for each of them, I can say 10 rupees was the laundry amount. Yes. Yes or no? Yeah. So similarly, instead of taking 500, I've taken it as X, and I am writing it as X by 50. Okay. Now, what we are trying to do here is, if there were 50 students, the price was 10 rupees. Now, the number of students have increased. The number of students have increased to 64. And what is the price for the laundry? X plus 760 is the price. Now this, if I divide by 64, if I divide by 64, I am gonna get 1 rupee less. Suppose if I'm getting 10 rupees here, I'm gonna get 9 rupees for each of them. Did you understand? Let's summarize. Let's summarize once again the question. First thing, there were 50 students in a hostel, and they were giving some clothes for washing. So for that washing, it was that there was some amount they were supposed to pay. So let us consider that as X amount, because there is no information. Okay, so this is first scenario. Now 14 students extra was in the hostel. Now new extra 14 students came into the hostel. Now the laundry expenses went up by 760 rupees, which means X plus 760 rupees for 64 students. Okay, this is overall. This is if I say overall. Now if I take every student amount, then in that case, for one student, when the number of students were 50, if suppose it was 10 rupees, this is example, if suppose it was 10 rupees, now when it comes to 64 students, it will reduce by 1 rupee. Okay, it will reduce by 1 rupee. So it might become 9 rupees here. So that is the question they have given, and they're asking us to find out this X. What is the original expenses that they were paying per month? Okay, per month. And apart from this, we should also find out X by 50. These are the major things they have asked in the question. So if you find X, then you can answer or find out all the other amounts. Did you understand the question now? Any doubts in the question? See, understanding of the question is very, very important, because if you're not able to analyze, you'll not know what to derive and how to solve. So understood? Any doubts? Okay, I'm assuming everybody understood then, since I don't see much reply. Okay, so let us solve this question. First, we have to derive the variables. Okay, let rupees X be the original laundry expenses per head per month. Okay, so we are keeping that X rupees as the original laundry expenses. Okay, so total laundry expenses is equal to 50 students into rupees X per head per month. For 1 month, rupees for 1 month, for one student, it's going to become rupees X. So what is my total laundry expenses? 50 into X, which is nothing but 50X. Are you all able to follow? Yes or no? Okay. So this is the total laundry expenses. Then if the number of students increases by 14, there are 14 extra people, right? The total laundry expenses will be 50x. So this is the laundry expense for 50 students plus rupees 760. So this is what is given in the question. 760 rupees extra it will happen. So if you see here, we derived that for total laundry expenses for 50 students is 50x. So 50x plus 760 rupees for the new 14 students. Okay. Then hence the new average expenses per head means per student per month will be, what is the new cost? New cost is 50x plus 760. This is the new cost divided by what is the number of students, new number of students? 64. How did I get 64? 50 plus 14. That will give me 64 people. Okay. So now if there are 14 extra people and the laundry expenses per head per month, I already explained you there in the, one second, in the question. If at all it takes 10 rupees for first month for 50 people, now it is going to take 1 rupee less for everyone when the number of students are 64. So I am going to equate those two things here. Okay. So what we are going to do here is, given Okay, sorry, one second. Given this is the cost for 64 members, laundry expenses for 64 members. They are saying it is gonna reduce by 1 rupee per head. For each of the student, it's gonna reduce when there are 64 people. Okay, so this is our equation. Now this we have to solve. So what will happen? 50x plus 760 is equal to, I'll take 64 to the other side. So 64 into x minus 1. So 50x plus 760 is equal to 64x minus 64. Now x, all the x to the one side. So what I'll do? 760 plus 64 is equal to 64x minus 50x. So 760 plus 64, how much do you get? 824. 760 plus 64. 824 is equal to 64 minus 50 will give me 14x. 824 by 14 is equal to 58. Okay, sorry. This will be x. So therefore, x is equal to